Back.
To ATC with me.
That's crazy.
Because it's like, it's me, but it's like, oh, also, plot twist, it's me.
That's real. That's actually something I really struggle with my name. Like, if anyone's, like, ever saying, like, oh, me and this person, like, oh, me and Hannah are going this, I just, like, hear Mia.
You hear Mia. No,
like, just,
fair.
like, if I'm not paying attention, like, oh, you know, me and Hannah. I'm like, oh, Mia.
Mia, Hannah.
Mia, Hannah, what's happening? And then they're like, no, girl, I was talking about you. And then I look
no, but people
conceited.
People say, like, Mia.
Oh. That's what I'm saying. Like, oh, Mia. I'm like,
yeah.
Nice.
We add the
about me. Yeah. It's really
That's
fun.
Crazy.
It's really fun.
It's not that crazy, but, like, it's crazy.
It's, like, actually not wild at all. It probably happens to me, like, maybe, like, once a month, but I'm like, it happens to me all the time.
That's fair. Hannah. Sometimes I just think they're saying
like, I'm talking about my hand. And I'm like, oh, Handa.
No.
That's kind of the thing. That happens to me all the time. I'm like, oh, my Handa.
Real.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. What a couple weeks it's been. We had the post-hurricane yap. And then we had the spooky.
Hopefully you guys are still okay.
Hopefully you guys. Oh, that's real.
I know, that was so scary. I feel like we're gonna need a part 2. All the stuff that, like, because after I like went down a rabbit hole again.
We've been sending each other.
Literally, we've been sending each other stuff. We're like, oh my gosh, so I feel like we're gonna need, if something happens, we're gonna do like a second.
No, we do.
Be like,
they're gonna want it. Yeah,
but sure. This is the first episode of November. So we got
Happy
over,
November.
yeah, so we're getting into
Merry
like
Christmas.
the holiday, no, literally it's Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
But like we're getting into the holiday season. It's like, isn't that insane?
That is insane.
It's already
in fact,
Christmas.
I need to know, are you the person that waits until after Thanksgiving to decorate for Christmas or after Halloween?
Okay, so I don't have like a direct, like, oh, the day after Halloween or like the day after Thanksgiving.
Right.
It's more just like, I do before Thanksgiving. Okay, usually. Good. Especially because this Thanksgiving, it's like the 23rd or something insane. Or like the 29th. Because it's the last Thursday, right? Of November?
That or the third Thursday.
Either way. Yeah, I was like trying to look at it. It's like the 20th something.
Okay, I'm glad you agreed.
The 28th. I'm not waiting the 28th to decorate for
When Christmas. Is it normally? When was it last year? Isn't it always? It's always in the 20s.
Let me look.
It's always at the end.
Right, thanks.
I don't feel like that's that crazy.
Giving. Okay, well, it is crazy in my mind. 2023. It was loading. Okay, there's a horror movie that came out in 2023 called Thanksgiving. That's not what I'm looking for.
We're looking for like the national holiday.
That's scary.
Ew, I don't want to see it.
Horror/mystery Thanksgiving themed. What the fuck? Okay, it was on the 23rd. So yeah, I guess it is always like late.
But that's still a week difference. Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad because I try to convince Vlad of this because he is the type of person that thinks that you should wait until after Thanksgiving. Okay.
So.
He thinks that you should wait until after Thanksgiving, and I'm like, here's the deal. Thanksgiving is not that important to me where I feel like it gets its whole own season.
No, I agree.
It's kind of, like it's wrapped up in like fall or whatever.
I agree.
But like Christmas, I need more than 25 days.
I need as much Christmas as I can get.
As much as possible. Baby Jesus deserves more than 25 days. It surpasses December. So for me, after Halloween, like once it hits November, I'm in full Mariah Carey Christmas mode.
Everywhere.
And then I take like a week break. Yeah. Oh, happy harvest, whatever, Thanksgiving.
No, right.
Which
that's all
it's literally just an excuse for good food.
I know.
Totally fair.
Like, we'll probably have a whole Thanksgiving episode on, like...
Oh, for sure.
For sure. You guys can look forward to that.
For sure.
Like...
And then
just
it's right
the
back
whole
to
concept
Christmas.
of, like, what we're celebrating, too, is, like, a little wild.
It is.
Really
No, that's why I'm like, I just want to enjoy good food with family and friends and then get right back to Christmas. It's just a little speed bump,
honestly. It's just, like, a little,
it's literally time to give thanks, which you should do every day, but give thanks, spend time with loved ones, and then get right back to Christmas.
Agreed.
That's it.
I think it's a part of the Christmas season because usually I would go Thanksgiving, then we do like Black Friday, like same day.
Yeah.
So it's like
Christmas shopping.
Christmas. So Thanksgiving is literally just like a pre-Christmas dinner.
It is.
I think so.
I'm thankful for the Christmas season.
That's what I'm thankful that
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Because like I might not put my tree up like November 1st.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not like
but like
people that are like
I'll start
waiting,
to put away
like,
the spooky stuff for like
no, that's fair. Like I'm not like on the edge of my seat like I have to
like I'm gonna listen
to
Christmas music.
Yeah, but I'm also not like on Thanksgiving like I refuse. It's just feeling out the vibes.
No, that's fair.
It really depends on like your schedule when you have free time to decorate and like mentally check into Christmas. Yeah. So it all plays a factor.
That's so real.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're gonna let's do our high and low tides. I want to start with low tides first because mine is like genuinely low, and then I want us to end on high so we can like
actually like lighten it up.
So
usually we're trying to get
so
low,
I can like move past it. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Okay, do you want to go first? Or
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
I want to like get it over with.
Okay. Just spit it out.
So my low tide is that by this episode, we lost my childhood dog, Molly. She was like 14, golden retriever, like got me through middle school, got me through high school. And she was just reaching that really old age. And then we found out that she had bone cancer and was in like, you wouldn't have guessed it, but the doctors were like, she's got to be in like crazy amounts of pain. So it was time to say goodbye. And it happened before we ever started the podcast, but that's the second dog that I've lost this year. Yeah. And if you are a pet person and you have a dog, you know how unbelievably like tough that heartbreak hits. Yeah. You know, and it's kind of one of those things where she was so old and, you know, you knew that the time was coming, but every single time it does come, it still just, it hits. But I know that she's not in pain anymore. And so that's my low. That's a low tide. I'm very ready for 2024 to make its way on out, which I've said multiple times now.
Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. I think that really, because usually our low tides are just like, oh, you know, I stubbed my toe the other day. That's like an actual.
You know what? Let me like blanket it with like a stupid low tide. Can I do that?
Okay,
with like a lame low tide to like. I don't want to be like
even it out.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
I'm like super sore.
That's real.
I'm super sore from the gym.
The gains.
It's been all like very lower body heavy this week, and like Wednesday there was like a lot of jumping, right? And then Thursday I was only originally planning on like just doing the barbell club and like focusing on like lifting weights, and then I got roped in. Allie, if you're listening, love you. I got roped into doing the running workout after the lifting, and it was basically like a 5K just broken up into multiple sets. And I'm not a runner. Like I'll say that I'm a CrossFitter, I'm not a runner.
Right.
I run short distances. And honestly, I also am like super prone to shin splints, and my shins like cause me a lot of pain. So majority of the time I will opt to bike because I would prefer an awesome form of cardio that is not so heavy on my joints. I'm just not a big fan of running. But at the same time, for general health and like life reasons, I feel like everyone should be able to run a certain amount. Like I feel like a general health is like be able to run a mile without stopping, you know, or like within like 12 minutes or something like that. But nonetheless, I was like, you know what? I brought my really good running shoes that I don't get shin splints in. Nice. And I was like, okay, I'm going to run.
Yeah.
And I did it. And I'm so sore.
You're feeling it.
And then today, the workout right after was like more jumping and like squatting. Lovely. And my legs, dude, felt so heavy. Like I had no power in them. And so my calves are tight. But I love pushing myself out of my comfort zone and making myself do something that I didn't want to do, but I did it with a friend. Cute. Allie, shout out to you, girl. You're my boo. I love you. And we had fun doing it together. So that's it sounds like it was a high tide, but I'm very sore. That's the
it sounds like a high tide. But so what's your go-to like when you are sore? Like what are you doing now?
If I'm sore,
tricks with Hannah.
Oh, a little. What is this episode?
Tidbit.
If I am very sore, focusing on sleep and nutrition is number one.
Okay.
So, like, make sure you're getting proper sleep. Make sure you're eating enough, because if you're not eating enough, then your body's going to have trouble recovering.
Right.
But other things that you can do is, like, active recovery. So, like, the worst thing you can do if you're sore is to be a couch potato, which sucks because the only thing you want to do is, like, be a couch potato when you're really sore. But, like, go on a walk. Or, like, sometimes I'll get on, like, the bike and I'll just bike really slowly, do yoga and stretch. And then if it's really sore or you want to just try to help your muscles, take an Epsom salt bath.
I think you've mentioned that before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely.
So
if I ever am planning on being sore anytime soon.
Buddy Days next Friday.
No way.
Well, not the Friday, you know.
They're like, wait a second, this is not fitting with the schedule.
It will already have passed, but it's November 1st. If you want to rein in your November,
it's fine. Rein in my Christmas season. I'm wearing a Santa hat the whole workout.
Please do.
I'd be so sweaty. It's gonna gross. Okay.
You're low tide.
Low tide.
Yeah.
This is so funny. Because I was like trying to think of my hand low tide before I recorded. And then Hannah's like, oh, how's life? And I was just explaining. She's like, that's low tide. I was like, oh, that's not even what I was going to say. That's so real. Like, I'm just talking about life. I'm so glad she's here to help.
You just spoke so fast.
Sorry, guys. My brain is working. The later it gets, the faster my brain, like, goes.
Yeah. But I love it because I talk really fast too. Okay. And I understand people who talk really fast because that's the speed that my brain works at.
Same.
I fear the audience.
Sorry, maybe, like, put it on, you know, like, you can change it.
Yeah. Put on
like,
a slower speed.
0.5.
0.75 maybe, yeah.
No, 0.5. 0.5. Take 2 hours of your day.
That's more ATC
really,
technically.
You're welcome. Just really help us enunciate our words. Like, I can go more ATC, just put on 0.5. No, yeah, I watch all my videos in 2 times. Like, I'm very...
That's so real.
Go. Like, especially when I'm public speaking, I literally have to make a conscious effort. I'm like, okay, Mia.
No, that was my biggest issue, is to slow down.
Yeah. Anyways. Low tide. Hopefully you understood where I got it from. But
I got a low tide.
Oh well, I got it from somewhere. So, this just happened today. I was pulling out of my driveway, as one does, you know, skirt, and then I'm like, I'm reversing, and then I put my car in drive. Then it starts yelling at me. It has this super loud, almost sounds like the alarm's going off, but it's not like my horn because I can still honk my horn. I don't know, it's the weirdest thing. Like
the car alarm.
Yes.
Like if
it was so loud, and like my hazards were blinking, and then I was like, ah! So I like tried like putting my car in park, and then it wouldn't work. And then like I tried to take my keys out, and that wasn't working. Cried. And I was like, I don't even know what's happening right now. I literally I hate everything.
You didn't have like your emergency brake on, something to do?
No. So that's the thing. So I'm literally like just trying to figure out how to get the sound to stop because I'm like, it was so loud. I'm like, oh, my neighbors hate me right now. They're probably like, girl, turn your alarm off. But I'm like, I wish I could. So I finally figured out, like, if you lock it, like, it turned off. Mm-hmm. But I was in the middle of the street. So I'm like in the middle of my street, and I'm like, my car wasn't going in neutral. It wasn't moving from park, like my thing. So I like couldn't move my car. So then I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, he's the best ever. He literally is the homie. I was like, Dad, my car. And so he's like driving. So he like, because we left like at the same time, I was following him. So he like turned around, came back, and like was able to like get my car in neutral. He pushed it into our driveway. Yeah. And then he like checked some things out. I don't even know. He opened the hood and like wiggled the battery or something. So it got to like just start and be normal again. But it's just a little scurry. Like, I don't know what his problem is. And then I looked, I don't have like a battery like light on my dash or anything. So I don't know if it's my battery. My mom was like trying to research on Google. Her giving her a little like, why is my car making sounds? Like doing that. She's like, I think it's a battery, but I don't know if it's a battery. So anyways.
But why wouldn't it shift gears?
That's what I'm saying. It like completely shut down. Like Gail, my car, that's her name. She was like stressed. It was funny. Me and my mom, like she immediately, I told my mom, she was like praying for my car. We like were like, God help Gail. Like we're literally like referring to her as just like this human. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with her.
I love that.
But yeah, so that was not fun. But
yeah, that's so stressful.
So then my dad again was kind enough where we would switch. I'm using their car. This only happened today, so I'm not going to use it for like a prolonged period, but just for the rest of the day, he let me use their car. Even like he's a genius. I use a key for the church because we had like our small group tonight, and it's on my usual keys. And he was like, "Oh, you probably need that." Like he was just helping me out because I was a mess. And
I would have forgot about that.
That's what I'm saying. It was so random. So nice. Like, do you need this key on the keys? I was like, yes. I don't know like what we would have done except like I need that key, and so I was able to switch it in. Yeah.
Hopefully you guys can figure out what's going on with Gail.
Maybe she just had a little fit. She was like, I don't want to drive right now. I'm like, okay, girl. Calm down. Anyways, that's all. High tide. Let's bring it up.
My high tide is I beat Viet in fantasy, in fantasy football. Okay, so if you don't know Viet, and most of you don't.
If you don't know Viet, they're like, who the frick? I mean, we had his wife. We had his wife. These people know Ruth.
They do.
The ATC is a Ruth.
The people in Africa.
No, they know Ruth. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows. If they don't know Ruth,
you're losing out on life.
She was a guest.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so
you think you know
Ruth,
Ruth,
the guest, yes, her husband is Viet. He's the youth pastor at our church.
Yeah.
If you do know Viet, you know what a big victory this is. Because he's in our fantasy football league. He's extremely competitive, and him and I have like always a good like battle, good rapport of like competitiveness. And the reason why this victory was so sweet is not just because he's Viet. Don't get me wrong. Beating Viet anytime is awesome. Okay? I won't lie. However, it's the mere fact that he's been so unbearably cocky because he was undefeated.
Yeah.
He was 6-0, okay, in our league. And he like his team name was "I'm so lucky" with 5 exclamation points. And everybody was like, "All right, Hannah, you got to take him down. You got to take him down." And I was projected, like, we were like 50-50.
Yeah.
Like, I was originally kind of projected to win, and then it was going back and forth for a while. And then as the last games that we had players going on, it was the Monday night Tampa game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game. Mm-hmm. And I had, I think it was
Godwin and
Godwin. Yeah, and Otten, thank you. I had Godwin and Otten. And, like, the whole first 3 quarters of the game, bro, like, they did, like, nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, nothing. And I was like, okay, well, that
was projected.
Yeah, listen, ATC, listen. When I tell you, there was, like, 10 minutes left of the game, maybe, something like that crazy, I don't remember. I was projected 1% to win. 1%. Like, Viet's victory, he had it clutched. He was changing his team name to 7-0, okay? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, which I guess now if you're a Tampa fan, you're upset with the choices that the coach made. Yeah. But for me, it turned out great. Godwin went off, Otten went off, and I got, like, when I tell you, I think I had like 100 points. Viet had like 124. I ended the night with 137 points. And the craziest part is I didn't even know it because that game started at 9 p.m. and I cannot go to bed at like midnight on a Monday. That's crazy. And at that time, I had stayed up like the first 3 quarters of the game. They had done nothing. I was 1% to lose. I'm like, why am I going to stay up to watch this? Yeah. And it's like not even like Tampa's my team. So I woke up to so many text messages. And
I was like, Hannah.
Everyone was like, Hannah, you did it. And I was like, what? And then Mia's like, I love Mia's text messages because everyone in the group chat was like, you know, they're texting in like all caps, right? They're like, Hannah, you did it. I can't believe it. That was crazy. Mia texted me 2 text messages, all lower caps. Hannah, you did it. The next one goes, you beat him. And I was like, those hit me so much harder. Like, it reminded me of like the end of a Disney movie when the team like finally gets the victory and they're just like, you did it.
That's how I felt. That's
really
what I wanted to convey. So
and I went into my fantasy football and I realized that I won, and I was shook. So now my team name is called Viet's First Loss. I don't know where I'm standing by the time that this drops, but I could lose every other game the rest of the season and I won't care because that was Viet's first loss. And I told him I was going to beat him, and
You've been taking down all the big dogs.
I took out the 3 big dogs.
I'm the 4th big dog, actually, guys.
You know what? You should feel happy, though, because Vlad was facing you this week, and he was like, Hannah, I'm up against Mia. And I was like, I don't know, like, you're a threat. Like, you're a threat.
That's, like, the biggest compliment ever. Like, literally, someone does that. Oh, wow. Okay.
That's, like, the highest tide of my life.
That's a really high tide.
Yeah.
You had a really low low and a really high tide.
Real low.
Yeah, and a really high. Man, the ups and downs of life. Who would have thought? Hills and valleys. No, that's so funny. Okay, my high tide. This mosquito bite. I have a mosquito bite on my arm. This is what my low tide was. Mosquitoes I hate. Anyways, that was random. I'm just yapping to you guys. Oh, my high tide is I got a massage this week.
I love massages.
I love massages. So the only time I've ever gotten a massage, well, actually, I've gotten 2 massages in my life. First one was I was visiting my sister and her brother-in-law in Texas. And so we were like bored one day. It was like really cold outside. We're like, oh, there's this massage place. It was the sketchiest massage place ever.
Oh, that's where you... Okay.
No, I know. Nothing bad happened except it was just weird. Like, he like stuck his fingers in my ears and like...
Yeah, what? You know what this is? You watch Friends, right?
Yes.
This is an episode where Chandler went to Joey's tailor. And Joey's like, what do you mean? That's how they do pants. In prison?
No, literally, because so like, anyways.
That's not normal.
It was a horrible experience. So I was like, I don't like massages. I feel uncomfortable.
He put his fingers in your ear.
Yeah, that wasn't even... yeah, it was wild. It was absolutely wild. Like, it was like... Because it was like... we're all in the same room. We were all like fully clothed, like in the same room. And we were like... It was like winter outside, so it was like so weird. And I remember like he had like to massage my feet, he like took my socks off and like put them on backwards. It was just the weirdest thing. I literally the whole time. Also, that was a crazy experience. Also, I'm just ranting now. But you know the head hole that you put your face in? Yeah. I didn't like line up correctly, so I was also like suffocating for like half of it because I was such a people pleaser that I was like I can't say anything. So I'm literally like trying to like move down my head without him knowing. And like he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry. Can I just move real quick?" Like I literally my head like was. And I think it was like when we were wearing masks, so I had a mask in my head like on the thing, and I couldn't breathe, so I had to like move down to move my head. Worst experience ever. I thought I was sharing that, but anyways, that wasn't fun. So
imagine you gasping for
air. Literally, it was like trying to move down.
I'm fighting.
No, that's literally it. Okay. So I was like, I don't want a massage ever again. But then my sister was like recommending, so for my birthday, she recommended, she had this massage place she liked. She's like, you like this one. So like my parents, like they got me this amazing gift. I got like a real like nice spa massage. And I was like, this is the most incredible thing that's ever existed
when you
ever.
go to the right place.
That was like 2 years ago. The right place, literally. So that was like 2 years ago. And it was so expensive though. So I was like looking at a massage, like, because I've just been like, wanting one. I've got a job now. I was like, I really want a massage. And so I was like looking online. I was just so definitely scared of like a sketchy one again. But it worked out, guys. I got like a really nice one and I got a massage and it was lovely and amazing.
I think my like aspiration and goal in life is to make enough money where I can have like a massage envy membership.
And just go.
That'd
be peak life.
Peak.
That's what I'm saying. Like it was incredible. Like I feel like a new person.
I'm telling I want a massage now.
Yeah.
We just spent 22 minutes on high and low tide.
We had like so many off stories randomly.
It's fine.
Yeah.
That's why they love us.
Yeah.
You don't listen if you don't yap.
Yeah.
Guys, listen. You know what? This is giving second episode fever, but it's not. It's just 10:15.
It's just late.
It's just late.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into Mana.
Because you've seen the title.
Yes.
So you know what we're getting into.
Okay, yeah. Because I remember I was bringing this up before, that it's our first episode of November, and it also lands on November 4th. And for all of our non-American, or even people in America that may not be aware for some reason, I don't know.
Not to judge, but like I'm judging. If you don't know. Like you should, I'm sorry.
This is like too serious of a topic right now. I'm not feeling like very serious. Okay, so November 4th is an election. Wait, no, we vote. Like,
oh my god, Mia.
No, I know.
You know.
I know. It's an election day. Every 4 years.
Every 4 years we vote for president.
We vote for president. Okay.
Here in the States.
And this is the day that we're doing it. This is November 4th. So while you're listening to this, can you wear AirPods while voting?
I don't know.
I feel like that's probably not allowed. But if you can, wear your AirPods and listen to this while you're voting, just to make it festive. I'm actually really excited. It's my first year voting.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations.
Thank you. I literally... Because I always go with my family to vote. So I had so many future voter stickers. I got a future voter. That was like my thing. I had to get a future voter. And it's so crazy. I'm going to have like an I voted sticker now.
An vote sticker. Aww.
Anyways, had that realization. I'm really excited. Okay. Mana. So.
With that being said, on this day, everyone in the country were choosing,
who we want to run the country. But what we want to talk about is who's really running our country. You know what I'm saying?
From a believer standpoint.
Exactly.
And furthermore we wanted to give a preface, which I know this is like, I think this is good to give the preface before the manna and the meat.
Okay,
but
perfect.
We're not here to get political. We're not here to share political views and or opinions. None of that. That's not what we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Today's goal is to talk about how discord and a lack of unity and divisiveness happens around this time between everyone in this country. And then it also, unfortunately, happens within Christians and believers as well, where we see people turn on each other when politics come into play. Right. So the goal of today is to talk about how we treat one another in general, especially during a very heightened political time. Yeah. Because politics be crazy. Everyone has their own opinions and views that are based upon their own life experiences and what they grew up and have experienced, their own lens, their cultural lens, their anything that they have gone through that can affect that and how you grew up and everything. So everyone is valid in the way that and whichever way you think our country, like, that's, as an American, that's your right, like, to go out and vote and to voice your opinion. So, to each their own. But when someone comes across that you don't agree with, our whole purpose is to how we can continue to be like Christ during this very divisive time. Yeah. That's it. That's all we're talking about.
Preface, exactly. Yeah, so you guys can take a deep breath. We're not going all crazy.
I'm not getting political.
Yeah.
We're getting...
Promise you.
We're getting biblical.
Ooh. Biblical over political. Write that down. Get that tattooed.
Biblical over political.
That was wild. Okay.
That order.
Speaking of biblical, Isaiah 9:6, I feel like it's just so amazing. It's a prophecy about Jesus. And it is saying, for to us a child is born. Jesus was a child that was born. To us a son is given. He was a son that was given. And the government will be on his shoulders.
Can I get an amen?
And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of...
Of what?
Not chaos.
No.
Not
discord.
Not discord.
Peace.
So, boom.
Peace.
Peace.
And peace is what we're here to talk about.
Yes. I think also it's so important to, again, when we were talking about, like, who's really running our country, because it seems like so, oh my gosh, we're making a decision, like, on how our country, like, this is it, these, like, I remember even being a kid, like, hearing, like, all the news and stuff, like, 2016 election, and being like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what's about to happen, but, like, I'm gonna, like, fall apart. Like, I don't know. It gets so stressful to really rely on, like, your livelihood, in your country,
and that's a really
on one person.
And that's a really good point to bring up, is that for anyone, I mean, I don't want to be Western centric. I don't want to be egocentric in this conversation. Obviously, this is a big topic for us because we live in America, so it's affecting our day-to-day lives. But I feel like from the conversations we've had with our people from Ireland, they are also very well aware of everything. They know more than I do, of what's going on. But I feel like when you're living here at this time with this politics, there's so much fear-mongering. Yeah. There's so much, like, the devil wants you to live in a state of fear, and so does the government at this time, where they just want you to feel like all of your rights are going to be taken away if you don't vote for this person, and everything, the country is going to fall apart. We're going to go into World War III. Everything is going to and it's
so scary.
And it's scary because some of those things are real. Right. Some of them could happen, but they're laying it all on you in a way where it all comes down to this candidate and whether or not they're going to be able to prevent all of these terrible, awful things from happening. And I think at that point, it just becomes, as a Christian, of, like, really, where does our help come from? And ultimately, who is in control? And that governments, both local and federal, they're going to fail us.
Mm-hmm.
They just are. They're human.
Mm-hmm.
They can only do so much.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter whatever kind of government you have, wherever you're listening, like, they can only do so much.
Right.
And I don't put more faith in my government than I do my God.
Amen. Yeah.
That's just kind of where, you know, it ends with that. And I think sometimes as Christians, we have to be able to take a deep breath and just, like, remind ourselves of who is ultimately
Who's
in control.
actually in control, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's so, we've talked about this before, but genuinely, like, how just relevant the Bible still is. Because you think about it, like, America didn't have this government. Like, that's not what
that's not
the
what
scripture is talking about.
Right.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, yeah, America's government when they're deciding, you know, Trump or Kamala, like, whatever. Like,
can we point out, it was the government that crucified Jesus. It was the Roman Empire.
Honestly, yeah. So, like, it's
you know
always been a relevant topic to, like, the government rests on
him,
on his shoulders, you know, like, it's not on just one person. And we can have that, like you were saying, that deep breath, that, like, relief, knowing that no matter what happens, God is still in control. Yeah. God is still sovereign. He's still over this world or country. He still is just that Prince of Peace, you know, that mighty counselor, you know. So just a reminder in the chaos, whether in America, you know, or not, just, like, watching it, like, no matter what the case is, Lord is in control.
And they had lots of political and government issues back then too.
That's what I'm saying.
You
like,
know what I mean?
fact that it's still so relevant today, but, it's like,
just,
even more so, like, but, like, back then
they had issues too.
So many issues, and they're saying, like, when Jesus came too, like, one of his main oppositions was, like, the government. I think so many people were like, oh, he's gonna, you know, change it, like, shift it, you know, because people thought of Jesus coming as, like, this, like, destroying the Romans, like, this soldier, like, warrior, whatever. And obviously it's the prophecies come to be fulfilled in different ways of, like, you know, what they envisioned of, like, him coming with a sword and, like, chopping all the government down, like, whatever. But it's just saying, like, I think it's so beautiful how Jesus really was represented working with the government, you know. That wasn't like, who can I, you know, rise above, you know, but he was just like, how can I serve and still know, like, he was serving out of knowing who he was and knowing who was in control, you know, which was him and his Father.
He had that confidence.
Right. He really he was able to just serve and be just a loving person to others, especially when they were so worried about everything else. Like, he's just constantly such a good example of how we can live our lives. Knowing that we can serve and, like, be a part and take pride in, you know, our country and how we can serve our country based off of knowing that the country is the Lord's, you know. It's not, we're not serving, you know, people. Like, I'm trying to think of the verse where it's like, serve as if you're serving unto the Lord, you know. So And
I mean, it just kind of segues right into, like, the meat of the episode, honestly, from that. And this is not, if we do have any, like, non-believers that are listening, this is something that anyone can take of how we treat one another during these times. And I feel like as the years go, the amount of political animosity between people has gotten worse. To the point where you see people ending friendships if you don't agree with them. You know, and I've actually been on the tail end of that, and it's, you know, it's really hard. And so I think where my heart is at with this topic is when I see Christians start to act really unchristlike. Because we are so, forgive me for lack of better words, hell-bent on being right and proving our political points, or being justified in the way that whatever we view, that we start not representing Christ well in the way that we treat other people who disagree. And the fact that there are, like, groups of Christians that get so divided, and I'm just thinking, like, what a tool the enemy has used politics for to create this kind of division. And we're allowing it to happen. When we forget that, like, before anything of this world comes, Christ comes first. And how we can go about this time to treat one another with respect, regardless of their views. It does not matter what someone's views are. It is not an excuse or a reason for you to be harmful towards another person in any way, shape, or form.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think we really overlook, like, because it seems like it's our decision, you know, like we're choosing to go against what someone else, or breaking friendships, breaking relationships, whatever. Like, the enemy loves that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the enemy loves that chaos, you know? Like, what it talks about, like, God being, like, he's not the author of confusion, you know? Like, he doesn't enjoy seeing his children rip each other apart over these issues, you know? Yeah. And I feel like the enemy loves it because it pulls us away from God. I mean, the more we, you know, just focus on, like, all of these, like, political things, like, what's wrong, what's right, like, we're so engulfed in it, like, the enemy just, like, loves distractions, you know? Like, whatever's pulling us away from, or giving power to something else that isn't God, like, he's like, yes, you know?
And I think so many Christians are getting swept away in it, and they don't even realize.
That's because they think it's, like, simple, like,
they think they're fighting for the faith, but you're just fighting to prove your own point,
right?
And to prove whatever views that you wanna push, and and it doesn't mean I love a good lively political debate. I love me a good debate. I love discussing views with other people. I like hearing why other people have the views that they do and being able to have a discussion about that. That's not what we're talking about. It also, this might be really big for our society right now. It also doesn't mean that you're not allowed to disagree. Yeah. I think we're in such a place where in our culture we're so sensitive. And we're so... If someone disagrees with us, we view it as attacking. Yeah. And that's not true. Yeah. I think we have lost the art of truly, like, agreeing to disagree. Or, I'm trying to think, like, just, what is the word that I'm thinking of? Like, very, calm, like, friendly disagreements, you know, where you can just, like, explain your views and why you believe that, and then being like, okay, I don't agree with you, but that's okay, and move on. Right. We've lost that. We're not able to do that. Like, if
you don't agree with every single thing that I do, like, then there's no point in any relationship.
And I think we've just viewed, like, people thinking differently or disagreeing with you on something as that person hates me, they're attacking me. Right. Whatever it may be. And I think I really don't even know why.
Yeah. I think that can so often too, like, take away our sense of individuality too, because like, say there is, like, that threat, obviously there's such a presence online and stuff too, where it's like, if you're not doing this, so you're not voting for this person, like, cut you off horrible, or even vice versa, if you're not voting for this person, like, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And they're like, oh wait, you're right, like, I don't, that is bad, like, I'll just go this way, you know? Like, it's almost taking away that sense of, like, really...
You're afraid to have your own true opinions because of what other people might think.
Exactly.
Yeah, one way or the other. Yeah. And I think we could talk about what to do in the situation of someone wants to get political, and you know that it's not going to be polite. Right. You know, because there are people that instigate, that try to start, you know, arguments.
Like, they just want it to get heated. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think as a believer, you have to have discernment in that situation. Yeah. And there are times where, again, I love to have a good debate with someone, but depending on the person or what their intention is, because if the other person is also looking to have a lively debate and hear other viewpoints, then sure, let's go for it. But if you're looking for a fight, and we both know that you're not going to change your mind, you know that I'm not going to change my mind, and you're just wanting to start tension and cause drama, I don't see the fruit in that. And so I think being able to read the situation and know when to just, like, back away and to say no thank you. Like, I'm not interested in having a political discussion with you.
Yeah, I think that's so similar to when we were even evangelizing. You remember? Like, telling people the gospel. Like, some people will just question you and be like, oh, do you believe this? Like, what about this? What about that? Like,
and they're not really open.
Exactly. Are they asking that because they're like, oh, wait, why is that happening? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, they just want you to feel stupid. They want you to back down. They want themselves to feel superior. They want to feel good.
And then they walk away.
Exactly. They don't even listen to an answer. That happened in Ireland, where they would just, like, come up, say something, and then leave. Like, okay.
Like, they would come up and, like, say an attacking statement, and then they don't give you the chance to have a rebuttal.
Right. So I think that's, like, pretty much goes hand in hand. Like, you have to have that idea of, like, what is there any kind of fruit, any goodness that's actually coming out of this conversation?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like, is this a good use of our time, or just, again, it could hurt the friendship? Like, you just really, have to.
And I think it's important where if someone just comes up to you and starts a conversation like that, you don't have to participate. And I think ultimately it's one of those situations where keeping your cool and maintaining composure to be respectful. Because let me just say this. Let me speak to my Christians. Okay, let me speak. The world wants to see you act unchristlike.
That's good.
We are under a microscope.
Yeah.
Always have been. If people know that you are Christian, they love to try to find you in contradictory moments where you are being human, you're having a sinful moment, or they are purposely poking at you because they want to see you slip up, and then they want to point the finger and be like, I thought you were a Christian. It happens. It happened to me when I was in high school, when I was a kid, and that is what we deal with, as Christians, and that's okay. That's in scripture. Jesus dealt with that. We're going to deal with it. So understand that if you don't have the ability to maintain your composure and get a hold of your emotions, and someone is trying to pick a political fight with you and they know you're a Christian, just understand that in everything we do that we're representing Christ.
Right.
And that in that moment, if you being right politically surpasses your
just like humility
and the call that we have to be like Christ, then there's a priority issue.
Right. Yeah, I think that's almost because, like, if you think about why people are pinpointing all that Christians do, like, they want, because if people have put the lens, like, oh, if you're a Christian, you're like that perfect being, you know? So, like, they're trying to honestly reveal the truth that, like you were saying, we are humans, that we aren't that, like, perfect on the pedestal thing that, like, people may envision. For sure. So they're trying to, like, tear that down to almost make themselves feel better, right? It all comes down to, like, a pride, like, wait, I want to make sure that, like, no one's that much better than me, what am I doing?
I got you kind of moment.
Exactly. So, and you think about it, when you are getting into a conversation or just in a place where you're defending something and, like, trying to make yourself look so perfect, like, you're just going that same, like, root of pride that they are, Like, if you really, look at it at its base level, you're just lower, like, it seems like you're trying to make yourself look better, but you're honestly just lowering yourself to that point of, like,
it's the definition of you need to take the high road.
Yeah, like, I need to make sure that I'm validated, or that they know that I have good ideas and that I have good opinions. That's exactly what they're trying to do, but they're just trying to make sure that you are marked down so that you guys have the same level of opinions, Like, I just think we get so caught up in that we really have to, like, look, like, okay, this is all coming from some sort of level of pride, even if it looks different. Yeah. Again, what are we doing this for? Like, it all just comes, like, just taking a step back is honestly so helpful in life. Like, you get so caught up in things. Whether it's a conversation, like, small day-to-day things, or it is, like, a huge issue, as if, like, an election. Like, sometimes you just gotta take a step back. Take a step back. Again, form your own opinions. Don't, like, necessarily go to that whatever anything's saying. Yeah. Just the voices around you, like, it all just, I don't know. And have you ever, I mean, I know you're just now being able to vote, so maybe you haven't experienced this yet, but you could. Have you had a situation, or have you seen a situation where people decided to end relationships because they just knew that you had different political opinions? I have not personally, but I've had close friends with issues with close friends. I got you. Yeah, so I have seen it in a real life instance, but not necessarily because of I mean, I've also, I think growing up, again, with just how much both sides are, like, if you're not my side, like, you're absolutely, like scum of the earth, like, horrible person. I've never been one to be like, hey, guys, let me tell you my opinion, because I just think it'd be so fun to be associated with one of those, so I think I have never put myself in a position to where, like, good or bad, obviously, it's not saying anything, but, like, where I would have a friendship or relationship broken because of it, but I have had close friends get into, like, necessarily, like, not even debates. Like, I feel like sometimes, like, you overthink it too, where it's like it has to be a debate. Like, it starts so, like, you just mention something and they're like, oh wait, it might escalate from there. And I think that's a real life experience I've heard from someone close to me. Yeah. So it is very real, but I've never experienced it personally.
I experienced that in high school, and I think it was, I don't even know if I was able to vote, or maybe it was my first year that I was able to vote, like my senior year.
Right. That makes sense. What year did you graduate?
2017.
Yeah, because there was an
2016
election in 2016.
was the election.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Okay, so I did not vote. I did not.
Okay.
But that was a very divisive year politically. And I had a friend, and we never talked politics because I knew that we had differing opinions, but it didn't bother me. I just wanted to be friends, outside of that. And again, it never even started because of a debate. We weren't even able to vote yet. All of those things. And she decided to instigate because she just knew of which side I leaned on. And I was like, why are we talking about this? Like, I've known that about you and what side you lean on for a long time. You've known that about me. I don't understand why we're even having this conversation. Yeah. I was like, that doesn't mean anything to me about whether or not you're my friend. Right. That's so minor to me in the grand scheme of things. But she just could not let it go. And we didn't talk for 2 weeks, and I just kept repeating to her in the conversation, I was like, I would never choose to start or end a relationship based on political opinion. That just seems really, really silly to me. And I was like, and I still love you, and that does not change my opinion of you. Right. Why does it change your opinion of me? Right. And it just didn't get received well. And honestly, we didn't talk for 2 weeks, and then we started to talk again, but our friendship was never the same, and we don't talk anymore now. Yeah. And so it's just crazy because I see that, and I see it from all different types of people, right, coming from all different types of views that have chosen to put their political views above how we're supposed to treat other people as Christ has called us to. And I get it, because politics are important, and it does affect our day-to-day life, and we're not here to say that it's not important. We're here to say it's not as important. Exactly. Yeah. Treating your neighbor as you would like to be treated, treating your neighbor with respect, loving others as Christ would. There is nothing that trumps that. There is nothing that supersedes that. It doesn't matter what political opinion, what political climate, what political candidate is running. There is never an excuse to treat other people with disrespect. We are called to represent Christ in every single thing that we do. Yeah. If people are trying to start a fight, you turn the other way, you turn the cheek, you turn the other way. If you want to engage in a debate, that's fine. Be respectful about it. And I just think that we also can get in big trouble when we start to make generalizations about groups of people, and we start to get really judgmental and guilty. I mean, it's so easy to do, and it's everywhere right now. It's very divisive, and it's meant to be. But it's I see so many people, man, where they get into these debates and they get on their keyboards, and the way that they talk to people, I'm like, are you representing Christ in doing that? Yeah. It just doesn't sit well with me. It just really, really doesn't sit well with me. Because then I'm like, and then you're going to church on Sunday and you're calling yourself a Christian, but you are attacking people because they disagree with you. And you can have your opinions that are valid about which way you think people should go, but it's not... You were called to be Christ in everything. Right. And I just feel like a lot of people, especially around this time, put their political beliefs above what the Bible says. Yeah. And it becomes an idol. It really does. No, for sure. But again, it doesn't seem like you do, especially if you're reasoning it in your mind, I'm trying to put Christian policies in a place or something, right. You kind of create that excuse, kind of create that reason. But then again, it's coming to the root of it. But no matter what you say, what are you doing? Why are you so obsessed with that? Is it because you think that is going to heal? Because only God can heal, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or is it going to restore when God's the restorer? It just, yeah. Why are you giving power over what God already has? Yeah. In his hands, which just goes back to, obviously the manna. But I also think another good point to bring up too is that we are not called to just love people that look and think like us. Right. Look at the people that Jesus hung out with. That's good. They were not people that were following the law. They were not people that were... seemed
they were perfect Christians. Like, literally, he got in the most arguments with the perfect religious people.
Unquote, yeah,
exactly.
And it's like he hung out with the outcasts, with the people who thought differently. He hung out with people that, I mean, he hung out with like the tax collectors and became one of his followers, and that was the big no-no at the time. That was the most divisive, you know, like no one wanted to be around tax collectors.
Exactly.
And it's like, but those are the people that Jesus decided to hang out with. And, you know, we've gone to say this in the past too with like, my heart is that like if you refuse to be friends with anybody that doesn't think differently than you, is there a lot of growth there? I feel like it's purposely keeping ourselves closed-minded. I don't think it's acting like Jesus, because I think that we're called to love all people, not just the people that you like, not just the people that you agree with, not just the people that have grown up in the same way that you do so they think the same way that you do. But I think you really show Christ when you are loving on people that drive you nuts, that disagree with you, that you don't understand how on earth they could support a policy like that. Whatever it is, I don't care. That is the moments where you show Christ. And I just think that it's really easy to love people when you're only choosing to hang out with people that agree with everything you say. Come on. Like, it's not challenging. You don't grow. That's not what Christ did. If that were the case, Christ would have just hung out with the Pharisees. Even though they disagreed on a lot. So
actually, no.
You know, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, if you think about it, like,
he would have hung out with the most politically correct, prim and proper, rule-following people, but he didn't. And he had tough conversations with these people.
And I think even too, like, you think about it, like, oh yeah, you might be friends with people you don't know yet, and then, like, you know, if you find out, but like Jesus knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, he even like washed the feet of Peter, who was going to deny him. Like, he knew what was going to happen, and he still chose it. So, like, even if you don't necessarily know, and you're like, oh, okay, well, now that I know, I have to make a decision.
He accepted the love and praise from the people he knew were going to crucify him.
That's what I think is so crazy. Like,
him.
I think sometimes we forget, like, oh, yeah, well, in the moment, it'd be easy, like, oh, I serve sometimes too, you know? But, like, would you still wash the feet of someone that was going to betray you, that was going to deny you, that was going to... It's just,
like, my question, like, our ending, like, little food for thought. Whatever political party you assign yourself with, would you wash the feet of the person on the other side?
That's good.
And, you know, wash the feet can be metaphorical. It can be, would you serve them? Would you
humble yourself down
below them?
Yes.
For the person on the opposite.
Especially, like, publicly, which is crazy.
Publicly
humbly serve someone that completely opposes
disagrees
your
with
beliefs.
I'm just saying, because it honestly, it breaks my heart, because I'm like, do we not see how the enemy is working right now?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
When I see Christians saying, you're not a real Christian if you believe this, and I'm like, oh, why does that sentence need to be thrown out? And again, I can understand where people come from, and I understand being so passionate about some of your beliefs, and again, a lot of these are super, super important. I don't want that to get misled, that we don't think that it's important. We do, but we cannot allow this to cause more division than there already is, especially among believers. Like,
that's in the body of Christ.
You can't, like, the you know, what is it, the verse, it's like, the hand doesn't look to the foot and say, I don't need you. You know, we can't do that. And
like,
there
is the foot, you know,
and there is something to say of, like, accountability within the church, and accountability with, you know, our brothers and sisters in Christ, and people that wear the label that, you know, don't actually live the life as, you know, as a Christian or as a believer. But, like, you know, that's neither here nor there. That is a separate conversation. But, like, when you look back at where you land politically, are you adding to the division, or are you trying to fight for unity?
Right.
And ultimately, sometimes there is power in just keeping your mouth shut. I'm sorry. Look at what Jesus did when they questioned him. They arrested him and they asked him questions, and he stayed quiet. It's just not worth it sometimes.
Right. Sometimes you gotta let the Lord handle it.
You can't. Yes. And we, like, when it's time to go out and vote, go vote.
Oh,
that's
for sure.
the best, the biggest thing that you can do.
That's how you make
the politicians
your
are
mark,
going to run their campaigns. They're going to do their debates. All of these different events and different things are going to come up. All of the ads on TV just smashing each other. You know, whatever it is, everything is going to be on social media. Everyone has the information they need to know who they want to vote for. On whatever side that you land on, there's enough information out there for you to do your own research. Getting into a debate, or I don't even want to call it a debate, because to me a debate is civil. Getting into a fight or an argument with someone you go to church with, or with your neighbor or your family member, does absolutely nothing except burn bridges, ruin relationships, and cause tension and drama. You are not changing anybody's opinion. They have all of the information they need to know who they want to vote for, and if they wanted to change their mind. What all you can do, if you are so passionate about these issues, which is not a bad thing, to go out and exercise your right as an American citizen to go vote. That's it. And promote other people to go vote and encourage other people to go vote. Because don't even get me started on the people that complain about the issues and then don't go out and vote. Right. That's a whole nother topic. But that's the only thing that you can and should be doing.
Right. Yeah.
Spreading love, being like Jesus, not adding to the tension and the just pure unnecessary division that politics have been able to cause within the church.
Right.
Go out and exercise your right to vote, and engage in civil debates when you can, and show how you can respectfully disagree. Right. I think it's important to model, right? Show Christ through politics, and when people come at you and they're trying to catch you,
it's an opportunity. Yeah,
it's an opportunity to show Christ. And then there are other times where you just need to walk away.
No, for
and
sure.
use discernment with that.
Yeah, and I think it's so cool too, because like, obviously, if you are in America, wherever you are, like, this applies to everything. Like, if you have any opposing beliefs at all whatsoever, like, this applies. It's not necessarily just in politics or, you know, in the American government. Like, it really does apply to everyday life, and it's just so good to remind yourself, you know, like, let me live like Jesus, no matter, you know, even the person that is so hard to love. It seems like that's who we're called to. I also was wanting to talk about, because before this, we and Hannah were talking about, like, oh, what do you want this episode to be about, da da da, like politics, da da da. But this really has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I'm kind of shifting gears. I just want to remind ourselves of the name.
Oh, that's
Against
right.
the Current.
Against
I
the
wanted
current.
to talk about it before I forgot. It just popped up in my mind. Because we were like talking about, like, oh, it's like politics. Not that we're necessarily talking about politics, but like just like it's such like a taboo almost.
Any
like
single
it's so
time
scarred.
Yeah.
So like, ugh.
But
Like, I feel like someone's gonna read the title and almost like not click on it, you know, because they're gonna be like,
or they're gonna be listening to look for a gotcha moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But ATC, as fun as it is to say, and how like short and like cute it is, you know, it really just works out that the abbreviation, like, I use it more than I use the actual name. Our name is Against the Current, not with the current.
Not with
WTC does not have a very good little rhythm to
doesn't.
it. WTC makes me. It sounds like a WTC. That sounds like one of those radio call letters or something.
It might be.
ATC.
We go against the current.
Yeah.
Every current.
Yeah, exactly.
Except the current of the Lord.
Exactly. So that's the whole point, is that, like, as much as, I mean, we're not even saying anything too controversial, but it still could be to some people. But I'm just saying, in the world of, it's way easier to hate your opposition, it's way easier to hate those that disagree with you, to burn bridges, to cut people off. Go against the current, you know?
Go against it.
Do that little harder decision. Make a little harder of a decision.
I even have another call to action is to pray for the people on the other side of whatever party you associate with.
Ooh,
pray
Hannah,
for them.
I don't want to.
Pray for them. And I don't care who the leader of your country is, we're called to pray for them.
It's true.
You know, so regardless of whether or not you agree with it, we're called to pray for them.
That's so good.
And at the end of the day, we know that God is in control. We're not gonna, we don't have spirit of fears.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
But confidence in that we know who runs the country, or whatever country that you're listening to this from listening to this. I don't know. I just completely confused myself. But that's the thing, right? Because she brought it up, and I was like, you know what? I didn't even think about the date. We totally should do this topic, but we were a little hesitant because you see the word political and it's immediately so divisive.
It's like,
but this is our opportunity to show that it doesn't have to be.
Right.
This is our opportunity to show how to be Christ in these situations. And I was like, no, you know what? We need to talk about this. We need to discuss this, because you can't just keep pushing things under a rug and like not acting like things are not super divisive, because they are.
Right.
And that we're not here to get political or to share our opinions or to hate on either one side. Absolutely not, because that's not the way of Christ. That's not what we're trying to do.
Right.
We're literally trying to talk about how to be Christ. And this goes, like you said, way beyond politics. Anytime that you disagree with anyone for any reason.
Exactly.
To treat people with respect.
It goes beyond it, yeah.
You know, and I just would like to see more love, more peace,
more patience, more kindness,
more
goodness, more faithfulness, more gentleness,
more self-control. Give me them fruits of them spirits.
All them spirits.
So, yeah, I hope you guys.
Sorry, I was like, put that in 0.5. Our fruits of the spirit, because that was always good.
Yeah, but pray for the people that you do not agree with. Pray for the political candidate that you do want to win and that you don't want to win. And whoever does win, pray for them no matter what.
Yes.
And pray for all of our local and federal, every kind of single person in a government position. Pray for them.
Yes.
I know I need to do more of that.
No, same.
So.
For sure.
Yeah.
So good.
You guys go out and vote. When the day is here, go out and
today's
vote.
The day.
You want change to happen? Be the change.
Be the change.
Be the change.
I like it. I'm going to get that tattooed right under biblical over political.
I'm going to have it across my neck.
Oh, I like it.
But it's not going to say the B. It's going to be an actual B.
Oh, like the bug?
Like the bug.
Okay.
Yeah. Be the change.
Be the change.
No regrets. You know what I'm saying?
I like it. And then where's the biblical over political tattoo going? On the back of the neck?
Yeah.
Do a little 180.
Yeah.
I like it.
Because that's at the base of my head where all my thoughts are.
Ooh. Yeah, it's like a base of your,
biblical over political.
Holding your head up.
Just remember the word, the title that you wear of Christian comes before anything else.
Anything else.
Sorry, not sorry.
All right.
All right, you guys.
Catch y'all next time.
Have a good week. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.